Amidst these Champions League semi-finals, which was an absolute spectacle to watch, we saw Borussia Dortmund and Edin Terzic, a fan who can be seen here watching Dortmund lift the 2013 Bundesliga to taking them to their first final in the Champions League in 10 years. We saw PSG prove they are who we always thought they were, and Mbappe, supposedly the best in the world, falling short again. And we saw Real Madrid pull off their, let me just count 1, 2, 3, oh that's right, 416th Champions League comeback. Those guys are on crack. We have the heroes, we have the villains, well not really villains, but not so heroes. But ultimately it all leads up to June 1st, 2024, Wembley. Borussia Dortmund will be playing Real Madrid. But let's first talk about what happened prior to that final. Let's talk about the semi-finals. And we start with Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. It's hard to just truly pinpoint what on earth just happened. How do they keep doing this? I have no answers to bring up on how they just do this. It's you know, before 2013, this was a team that was struggling for quite some time in the Champions League. For 10 years or so, they won nothing and rarely got close. But ever since then, this team have done it again and again and again, in which no matter what hole they find themselves in, there's a belief installed into that side during these past 10 years that they feel they can always make it through. Let's talk about Real Madrid in particular and the performances. Vinicius is the highlight. He was fantastic on that left side. He's up against Kimmich, one of the best fullbacks in the world, maybe the best right back in the world. And Kimmich had a rough game, not just with Vinicius. In general, he was bad. Very surprising from him, but he still torched him. And in general, he was very efficient, very quick, very cute with the ball, and just ultimately by far the best player on the pitch. And it's worth noting, it came the day after Kylian Mbappe, the supposed best in the world, pulled off a stinker, which we will talk about more later. It's worth noting that Vinicius has that performance right after Mbappe's. Maybe he has something to say about the whole best in the world title. Throughout the rest of Real Madrid, I thought Kroos he didn't play the whole match, but the man does his job very, very well. Ancelotti expects from him to be that pass master, to be that man in the middle of the park to distribute the play and allow the forwards and the wings to get into positions to attack the defense. And he does it so well, even at this old age. He's a pass master. And the other highlight is Joselu, the hero, coming on. This man was playing for Stoke City. Are you mad? And he comes on in this Champions League semi-final, scores 2, they go through. That rhymes. I didn't mean it to make it rhyme. Going on to Bayern Munich, I have to say extremely disappointed with the performance. For the first 80 minutes or so, defensively it was solid, great shape, they did a fantastic job. But offensively, throughout the entirety of the match, first to the last minute, in the final third, they were absolutely horrific. Their decision making, their passing, and when they got into the positions, their finishing was absolutely dreadful. Davies scored, fantastic, but it was a wonder goal. It took that ultimate burst of quality to get their goal. In general, they were absolutely atrocious. This game reminded me of Bayern Munich against Arsenal at the Emirates, except in that match, Bayern were efficient, they were clinical. In this match, that was non-existent. They were the exact opposite. They defended well for the first 80 minutes or so and did their job. But unlike the Arsenal game at the Emirates, offensively, it was a mess. They really could have punished this team. There were good moments from the first to the last minute in which they could have gotten that first goal, second goal, whatever. But the final ball always failed them. Horrible performance. And on Tuchel, you all know it, he took off Kane, he took off Sane, he took off Musiala, went full defensive. Here's my thing, that's overkill. Keep one of them on, maybe 2. It's overkill. It's only 1-0 and it's the Bernabeu. They've done this many times. You must be wary of the comeback. And when Joselu's goal went in, I don't know about you lot, but for me, 100% they were going to get the second. If it wasn't going to come in regulation time, it was going to come in extra time. And with Bayern's offense left on the field, as bad as it already was, it got even worse. Müller, Choupo-Moting and the rest, they weren't going to get a goal. Never. Actually, that's not true. They did. Let's talk about the controversy at the end. So essentially what happens at the end, in my understanding, the ball comes in, there's a header, goes down to the lit shoots, he scores. But the linesman gave offside. Even before the header to the lit, I think he flags for offside. But he made a huge mistake. What he needed to do is allow the play to go on because it was extremely tight. And look at this. Even if you say he's offside, which actually is on, you still should let it go. It's extremely tight. Those are the rules. Allow the play to continue, and if the lit does still score, VAR will check, they'll flag it for offside. That's how it goes. No, he makes a huge mistake. And the thing is, the refs can't now overturn this and give the goal because Real Madrid also stopped playing. You can see Militao, he could have blocked the shot, and in my opinion, he does in fact stop playing. So you could say it's a moot point because he would have stopped the goal. I'm actually not so sure about that as well, because it was quick. From the linesman to the goal, it was like one or 2 seconds. There is still a very, very good chance, even if the linesman had not flagged for offside, Bayern Munich still could have scored. There's a very good chance. And ultimately, the linesman robbed them of that opportunity. Now, robbed, that's a word being used a lot. Bayern Munich were robbed. Look, they weren't robbed of the win, because in my general opinion, with how the game was panning out, with the players left on the pitch, with the subs made from both teams, even if the Lit gets that goal, I'm sorry, 30 minutes of extra time, Real Madrid are getting that third. They're getting the third goal, they're beating them. It's still unfair because Bayern deserved the opportunity to fight again for 30 more minutes to hopefully try and go through, but you can't say they were robbed of the victory. They were robbed of the opportunity to fight again and possibly get the victory. But I don't think it was going to happen. You know, against Man City, City were far better. I agree with that, but not with this game. Madrid were the better team throughout these 2 ties, particularly in this game. They were fantastic. They were the better team in my opinion. And the final word on this match, Real Madrid, they just, in this competition, when they have the need for the leaves to fall exactly when they need it to fall for them to win, it does. Madrid and Ancelotti through to another final, deservedly so. And on to Paris Saint-Germain versus Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund going through. Well, let's first start with Dortmund. Fantastic defensive performance. It really was a great showing from them. Hummels, a warrior. Schlotterbeck, great name by the way. Fantastic, just as good. And Sancho and Adeyemi up front. From the first and the second leg, they were just menacing. Very dangerous and very efficient. I was extremely impressed with them. I wonder how Ten Hag feels. But it was a proper team performance on the defensive end mostly, as opposed to the offense that got them the win at home and away. And I've got to say, rewind back to the quarterfinals against Atletico Madrid. I picked Atletico to beat Dortmund. Now, I forgive myself for that. That's a very sensible prediction. Even now, I still think they're the better team. It's fine going for Atletico over Dortmund, but I'm a fool because I should have known better for picking PSG over Dortmund. You see, after the first tie, I thought to myself, the 1-0 is not enough. PSG, Mbappe up front, the pace up front with Dembele as well, they'll overcome this deficit, they'll win. I was a fool because they are the exact same team they have always been. The idea that they have improved from last season and the season before because no Messi, no Neymar, was a foolish take taken out of context. Yes, they made it further in the Champions League. My friend, the reason why they got knocked out in the previous 2 seasons because yes, they're bad, but they also ran into Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. It's just that this year they had a much more favorable draw. Even though they finished second, still had a favorable draw in Sociedad and a Barca team who were significantly better than them right up until the red card. It's worth noting, before the Araujo implosion, Barca were by far the better team. They made it this far not because they had improved. They hadn't at all. In fact, they got worse. Their attack is as wasteful, far more wasteful than before. Their midfield is atrocious. Their defense is so poor. In general, it's a poor collection of players that, quality-wise and also mentally, are never going to win this trophy. Even if they made the final, whether it was Real Madrid or even Bayern, they were always going to lose. Their quality, yes, it does far surpass Dortmund's, but the mentality, the belief, the tenacity, it's no way near. And in knockout tournament, that does tend to beat the quality. Dortmund won because of their tenacity, because of their true teamwork. I like Enrique, I really do. And with Mbappe leaving, going to Real Madrid, which he most definitely will, I think a lot of players need to follow. Enrique is a good coach, I like him, but he needs to clear out. And on Mbappe, because it needs to be worth noted. Right now, if you were to ask the question, or I guess maybe definitely 2 weeks ago, if you were to ask the question, who is the best in the world? The answer for most would be Kylian Mbappe. And I think, coming down to it, it would also be my answer. I believe him to be the best in the world. But with that being the case, against a Dortmund side that, yes, they were good, but it's not impenetrable. You need to do far better. This was no way near good enough. He was terrible in the first match and terrible in the second match. And he had his moments, but he failed to deliver. That is a knock on the supposed best in the world. And his legacy with PSG seems to be up. And ultimately, I'll look back on it and I'll say that his body of work as a PSG player is probably the best for any PSG player. But he, not Messi, is not on Neymar, it's not on any of them. He, Mbappe, could not deliver. And that is a knock on his legacy. And we go back because, let's be real here, there are comparisons at times drawn with Ronaldo and Messi at this age. Ronaldo and Messi at 25, 26 would have dismantled this Dortmund team. So that never should have happened, but now for sure needs to be nipped in the bud. No more Messi Ronaldo comparisons. I still think he's the best in the world. I understand Vinicius was amazing, he was bad, but let's not live in the moment. Let's take a step back. I still think he's the best in the world, and I think going to Madrid next season, which he most surely will, we'll see the best of him. But so for now, horrible outing, and it's a knock on his legacy, but I think we'll see some great things in the seasons to come. And Dortmund in general, and the final one from them, Terzic fulfilling his dream, a fan taking them to a final, that's beautiful. Defensively, they were truly the yellow wall, and it's nice to see them getting through. I'm happy they got through, but going to the final, my prediction, I picked Atletico over Dortmund. I picked PSG over Dortmund. I was proven wrong both times, and I hope they prove me wrong for a third time. I think Madrid are gonna win, and I think quite convincingly. Because it sucks to say this, but I've gotta be honest, Dortmund making it here, it was kind of a mellow draw. It wasn't the hardest. You know, you had Arsenal, City, Madrid and Bayern all on one side of the draw. It's kind of why we even had this PSG Dortmund semi-final in the first place. So I do think they were kind of fortunate, and ultimately Madrid, going from PSG to Madrid, it's a huge jump. Madrid's quality far surpasses PSG's, and mentally, you know they have that. You know they are ready for anything that they throw their way. The defense is good, Dortmund, and I think it's good enough. I fully expect a kind of easy Real Madrid win, but it's football, and Madrid aren't perfect. There are weaknesses in that side, so we'll see, but I do fully expect a Real Madrid win on June 1st, 2024. And with that, the video ends. Let me know what you think. Comment down below your thoughts on this whole crazy Champions League semi-finals, on Dortmund, on Real Madrid, who's winning it. Where did Bayern go wrong? Where did PSG go wrong? You know, you can question the quality of the football on display. I get that, but you can't question the entertainment. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more. There is a link on the screen right now. Have a great day. I am the football enthusiast. Take care of yourselves.